What's going on, everybody? Sean Pierce Johnson here, and I am thrilled to be bringing you my review and demo of this beautiful Ramos Guitars Atlast, a custom piece made by my new friend Jose Ramos out of Barcelona, Spain. And I gotta say, this thing is an instrument and a work of art, and I have loved every single day that I have had this in my possession. It is a wonderful guitar, it is a wonderful piece of art, and we're gonna check it out with clean sounds, dirty sounds, affected sounds, you name it, we're gonna check it out. But first, let's talk specs. First off, you get this beautiful super Strat-esque body, which I think actually shares a little bit more in common with like a PRS double cutaway with this cool bevel cut to this beautiful flame maple top. Just absolutely gorgeous kind of sunburst finish in a very different kind of way than you usually see sunburst finishes. Usually they kind of go middle to out, but this is kind of like gradation across the guitar body. Really, really nice. Another interesting note about the body is the tone wood that Jose has chosen to use for it. He uses Spanish cedar, which you don't typically see used in electric guitar making. As a matter of fact, in my research, I've found that cedar is often used for classical style nylon string guitars. And if I had to equate it to anything that you might be familiar with, I'd say that it has a lot of the mahogany bark, but it doesn't have a lot of the heft. Either way, it's a really, really beautiful sound. The neck is 7 different pieces of wood. It uses the same Spanish cedar with European maple and wenge, I don't know exactly how you pronounce it, but it's a really trendy tone wood that a lot of builders are embracing these days, and it feels really, really solid. It's got a 12-inch radius with an ebony fingerboard, which of course houses these gorgeous, absolutely stunning Fellowship of the Ring custom inlays. I mean, this is the crowning achievement of this guitar for me. It is absolutely wonderful, the level of detail. It uses abalone, it uses mother of pearl, it uses things that I don't even know what the material is, but it is just beautiful to look at. It is beautiful to play. And the frets are stainless steel, and I personally have found that I'm really enjoying stainless steel frets these days. Now when it comes to the headstock, you get an ebony overlay with a really cool flame maple truss rod cover with the Ramos logo. And the hardware is really nice as well. You get Goto hardware for the tuners and the bridge, which is a tune-o-matic string through body. And what's really cool is the accents on the tuning pegs are also wood. So there's a very cool natural wood kind of tying around everything of this guitar from the body to the tuning pegs. Now with the electronics, you get standard master volume, master tone, and a 3-way toggle with 2 humbuckers, and these humbuckers are custom wound by Jose himself. They're Ramos pickups, and they're kind of like 50s style PAFs, so they're a little bit lower in output than what I'm used to, but they produce a really clear, beautiful tone. And there's no coil splits, no coil taps, just standard volume tone switch. Simple. Simplicity is where I live, and that's what I love. So this guitar fits right at home. Now, one other interesting point about this guitar is that usually with guitars of this body style, you usually get longer scale necks, 25, 25 and a half, even, long baritone scales. But this neck is actually a very familiar feel for me. It uses 24 3/4 scale, which is similar to the Les Pauls that you normally see me playing. But it's got 24 frets. So as I get up to the higher registers, I notice that, my fingers, I got quite big hands, so it's kind of hard to fret some of those notes, but it makes bending higher pitches really, really easily. You could slap a set of 10 to 46, 10 to 52, and I'm right at home and I'm ready to play. So that's specs. What else do you get with the package? Well, you get a custom branded Ramos Guitars case from Headstock cases out of the UK. You also get a nifty little business card USB stick that has your certificate of authenticity signed by Jose himself. You get your specs, you get warranty information, and you also get a full package of pro studio quality photography. I'll go ahead and throw a couple of those shots up there for you to see right now. It's really an amazing package. And of course, you get your truss rod adjustment and a nice polishing cloth as well. So we've talked specs, we've talked package, it's time to talk tone. We're going to check this out through my normal rig. I got my full pedal board with the guitar plugged in to my rocker verb with my standard setup that you usually see on the Stompbox Saturday videos. So let's dive in and check out how this thing sounds. Alright, let's start out by checking out this guitar with a clean tone. Now, we're not going to use any effects, not even reverb. We're just going to get the sound of the guitar into the amplifier. I'll start out with the bridge pickup, go to the middle position, and then to the neck pickup. Really nice. That bridge, you get a nice little snap. I really love the middle position with that kind of glassy tone to it. And that neck pickup has a lot of that cool woolly quality that some of the older school PAFs have. Now that we've checked it out with a raw tone, why don't we throw on some effects? I'll do my normal chorus tone with some compression, a little bit of chorus, and some reverb added on. Lovely, absolutely lovely. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, but with a dirty tone from the rocker verb. Again, just raw, no effects. We're going to start out with the guitar into the amp, and not even reverb. So, let's check it out. Really cool. You get a lot of that great kind of clarity in the bridge pickup. The middle position, you kind of get that nifty Jimmy Page middle position vibe to it. And the neck pickup, man, that's just, I could picture throwing on a fuzz, and that's just liquid Gilmore style territory right there. But now that we've done that, why don't we check it out with some of the other effects from my pedal board. Now, this is normally the dirty tone that I like to use, and I find works best for most of my riffing needs. notice I threw on my OC2 there, and the one thing I can say about these pickups is they handle pitch shifting effects really, really well. Lower output pickups tend to, well, as you would expect, they don't overload the front end of pedals, so you don't get a lot of those mushy, gushy artifacts, and especially with low pitch shifting, that can be a real problem. This guitar handles those kind of tones like a champ. Now, of course, lead territory, we got to check that out. So I'll go ahead and dial up my lead sound with a little bit of boost from the Vertex Boost and some of the MXR Carbon Copy. This guitar is it's like a breeze to play. It's almost effortless, and it makes playing enjoyable. Well, there you have it, everybody. There is your demo and review of the Ramos Guitars Atlast, the Lord of the Rings Custom Edition. What can I say about this guitar? It's a beautiful work of art, and when it's backed up by playability and something that you really feel like you can make music with, that makes it all the better. Now, a couple things that I would probably prefer, I would most likely choose, if this were a custom guitar, that I had spec'd out 22 frets on this scale of neck as opposed to 24, just because I got some big hands and some slightly fat fingers, so it makes the higher frets a little difficult to play. But either way, the guitar feels really, really good, and riffing is a breeze. You know, mid-range on the neck feels really, really nice, and the bends are really easy. And it just feels like a very, very comfortable guitar. Immediately from day one, I felt like this was a guitar that I could pick up any time and play. A couple things that I had felt about, but my opinion has slightly changed over time. When I first got the guitar, I wasn't such a fan of the way the pickups sounded. They were a little too low output for my liking. Most of my guitars have high output humbuckers, and my main Les Paul that you see a lot has a Duncan JB and a Duncan Jazz, and those are fairly hot. So I wasn't too big of a fan of those old school PAF tones, but over time, and as I really started using it and experimenting with this guitar, I really came to love these 50s style pickups for what they are and the uniqueness of this particular instrument within the realm of my whole arsenal. And I think that's something that a lot of people need to consider when they're building a guitar arsenal or a collection. You should really find pieces that do something different, and you should really find instruments that are gonna solve one problem that you have with another guitar. You shouldn't just keep buying the same thing over and over again, because after a while, it's kind of like, you know, you have 5 copies of the same book, but there's nothing different about them. You know, it's kind of like buying a special edition of a movie collection that has no new special features. It just doesn't make much sense now, does it? I didn't think so. But anyway, this thing is absolutely beautiful. I'm not going to give it a letter grade. I'm not going to give it a 5 stars or whatever kind of rating you're looking for. I'm just going to say this. If you weren't aware of Ramos guitars, you should really do yourself a favor. Look them up. Find out if you can get one of these guitars in your hands. Find a dealer near you or something, because these instruments are absolutely amazing. The quality is great, the playability is great. I'm super happy to be the steward of this instrument and will care for it for as long as it is in my possession. And I look forward to seeing more examples of Jose's work in the very near future. I hope you guys enjoyed this review and this demo. Stay tuned for our next one. And until then, I've been Sean Pierce Johnson, and I wish you good tone and happy stomping. Cheers, my friends.